Budgeting is boring. Tracking every penny is exhausting. If you have a demanding career, the last thing you want to do is stare at a spreadsheet on your day off. What if you could build wealth by being completely lazy? Today, we are talking about financial automation. You don't need intense discipline to be rich. You just need to set up a system once and let technology do the heavy lifting while you focus on your life. Imagine your savings, investments, and bills all handled automatically. No stress, no missed payments, no overthinking. Every month, a portion of your income goes exactly where it should, saving, investing, and growing in the background. This is how smart money management works today, not by willpower, but by design. In this video, I'll show you how to build a simple, automated system that works for you 24/7 so your money grows, even when you're not thinking about it. Meet Ryan. He's sharp, ambitious, and fully locked in at his tech job. During the week, he's focused, disciplined, and constantly pushing himself to grow. Deadlines, projects, performance, he takes all of it seriously. But when the weekend hits, Ryan becomes a completely different person. He's not thinking about spreadsheets or savings rates. He's out on the field, playing fast bowler for his local cricket team. Running in, delivering pace, feeling the adrenaline, that's his real escape. No numbers, no planning, no overthinking. Just pure release from a demanding week. And that's where the contrast begins. Because during the week, Ryan tries to be financially responsible. He's downloaded budgeting apps, set goals, tracked expenses, watched tutorials. For a few days, it works. He logs everything, feels in control, tells himself, this time I'll stick with it. But by midweek, work gets intense. Deadlines pile up, energy drops, focus shifts, and slowly, the system breaks. He forgets to log expenses, skips a day, then another. By the end of the week, the app is abandoned, again, not because Ryan doesn't care, but because the system depends on something he doesn't always have: consistent attention and energy, and that's the problem. Ryan doesn't need more discipline. He doesn't need another app. He needs a system that works even when he doesn't feel like working it. Because if your financial system only works when you're motivated, it won't work when real life gets in the way. Ryan's problem isn't that he doesn't understand money. It's that his system depends on willpower, and willpower is unreliable. At the start of the week, Ryan feels in control. He checks his balance, tracks expenses, tells himself, I'll save this month. But as the week goes on, work gets heavier. Energy drops, focus shifts, and that's when the cracks appear. Because saving money, in his system, requires constant decision-making. Every time he spends, he has to think, should I really buy this? Every time he opens his account, he has to decide, should I move money to savings? And here's the problem. When your money is sitting in your checking account, it doesn't feel like future savings. It feels like available money. That's the illusion. You open your banking app and see a number. Let's say $2,000. Your brain doesn't automatically subtract rent, bills, future goals, or savings. It just sees, I have $2,000 to use. That's what we call the wealth illusion. It makes you feel financially comfortable in the moment, even when a large portion of that money already has a purpose. So when Ryan has a long day and decides to order food, it feels affordable. When friends invite him out, it feels manageable. When he wants to buy something small, it feels harmless, because the number in his account supports the decision. But behind the scenes, something else is happening. Every one of those reasonable decisions chips away at what he intended to save, not dramatically, but consistently. And by the end of the month, the money he planned to save is gone. Not because of one big mistake, but because his system required him to say no over and over again, while his environment kept making it easy to say yes. That's why relying on willpower fails most people. Because if the money is visible, accessible, and feels available, your brain will always find a reason to use it. What Ryan eventually realized is simple, but powerful. Your brain doesn't manage money logically. It responds to what it sees and how easy something feels. There's a well-known psychological principle, out of sight, out of mind. If money is visible in your main account, your brain treats it as usable. But if that same money is moved somewhere less visible, something interesting happens. You stop thinking about it. You stop planning to spend it. And over time, you almost forget it's there, not because you're careless, but because your brain prioritizes what's in front of you. Now combine that with another powerful concept. Friction. Humans naturally avoid effort. If something is easy, we do it. If something requires extra steps, we delay it or avoid it entirely. Ryan's old system had this backwards. Spending was easy, one tap, one click, instant gratification. Saving, on the other hand, required effort, log in, think about the amount. Transfer manually. So what happened? He spent by default. And saved only when he had extra energy. But when he understood this, everything flipped. Instead of trying to fight his behavior, he redesigned the system around it. He made saving automatic and invisible. Money moved out of his main account before he even saw it. And he added friction to spending, separate accounts, delays. Small barriers that made impulsive decisions slightly harder. Now the psychology worked for him. Saving didn't require discipline anymore, it happened in the background. And spending, it required a conscious decision. That's the key shift. When saving becomes the default, and spending requires effort, you're no longer relying on motivation. You're using human behavior to your advantage. And that's when consistency finally becomes possible. Let's flip your perspective for a moment. Imagine this. Your company stops depositing your salary into your main account, and instead puts it into a locked box. You can still access it, but only with extra steps. Extra time, extra attention. Now ask yourself honestly. How would your spending change? Would you still order that quick meal? Would you still make that impulse purchase? Would every small expense feel just as easy, or would you pause? Even for a few seconds, and think twice. Because that pause is powerful. It's the difference between automatic spending and intentional spending. And most people don't realize, their biggest financial problem isn't income. It's how easy it is to access and spend their money. Once you add even a little friction, you don't need more discipline. You just need fewer effortless yes decisions. Ryan didn't try another app. He didn't promise himself more discipline. Instead, he did something different. He removed himself from the process entirely. The moment his paycheck hit his account, the system took over. 20% automatically moved to investments. 10% automatically moved to savings. No reminders, no decisions, no I'll do it later. It happened instantly, before he even had a chance to see the full amount. And that changed everything, because now, when Ryan opened his account, he didn't see his full salary. He only saw what was left, and that number. That became his new reality. His brain adjusted. Spending decisions were now based on a smaller, controlled amount. There was no internal debate like, should I save this or spend it? Because the saving had already happened. Automatically, silently, consistently. And here's the key. Ryan didn't suddenly become more disciplined. He didn't track every expense. He didn't optimize every purchase. He kept most of his lazy habits, but now, those habits operated within a system that protected his money first. So even if he ordered food, even if he spent casually, it only affected the remaining portion, not his future. Over time, something powerful happened. Month after month, that invisible system kept working. No motivation needed, no perfect behavior required. And after 2 years, Ryan had accumulated nearly $50,000. Not through extreme effort, not through constant control, but through one simple shift. He made saving the default and removed the human element that kept breaking his progress. Because when your system is stronger than your habits, your results stop depending on how you feel and start depending on how your money flows. Spending. And most people don't realize, their biggest financial problem isn't income. It's how easy it is to access and spend their money. Once you add even a little friction, you don't need more discipline. You just need fewer effortless yes decisions. Here's the shift Ryan discovered. Willpower runs out, systems don't. You can be motivated on Monday, disciplined on Tuesday. But by Thursday, life gets in the way. Energy drops, focus fades, and good intentions disappear. That's the problem with relying on discipline. It's temporary, but automation. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't forget. It doesn't negotiate with your emotions. It just executes, every paycheck, every time. Without hesitation, Ryan didn't try to become perfect. He made one smart decision. He set up the flow of his money once. After that, he stepped out of the way, and that's the real insight. You don't build wealth by winning daily battles with yourself. You build it by creating a system where the right decision happens even when you're not paying attention. Now here's a simple question that can change everything. Is your financial system manual or automatic? Right now, are you relying on yourself to remember, decide, and stay disciplined? Or have you built a system that moves money without asking you? Because as you've seen with Ryan, the difference isn't effort, it's structure. One system drains your energy every week. The other quietly builds your future in the background. So here's your move. What's the first thing you can automate this week? Savings, investments, even one small transfer? Drop it in the comments. Because the moment you automate even a small part of your finances, you stop relying on motivation and start building momentum.